where we're going to look at two methods, substitution and elimination. And so I'm going to work the same example using both methods so that we can compare them. So here we have our system. I'm going to go ahead and write the equation in here. So we have our first equation, x plus y equals 4, and our second equation, x minus y equals 2. So the first step is going to be to solve one of the equations for one of the variables. And so I can pick the first equation, and I'm going to go ahead and solve for x. So I'm going to solve for x by subtracting y on both sides, and so I get 4 minus y. So I'll be using this equation here. The second step is to substitute your new equation. It's really not new, it's just rewritten differently. In step 1 into the other equation not used. And then we're going to solve for the variable. Okay, so for example, here we didn't use equation 2, so I'm going to write it down. And then I know from step 1 that x is equal to 4y minus 1, so we're going to replace this x by that information. So we're going to have 4 minus y equals 2, and then we're going to solve for y. So 4 minus 2y is equal to 2. Subtract 4 on both sides. So we get negative 2y is equal to negative 2. So y is equal to 1. Your solution should always be an ordered pair. So step 3 is going to be to back substitute our answer in step 2 into one of the equations from the original systems. Or it could also be this equation that we have that we rewrote. So I'm going to go ahead and use equation 1. So here I have x. I don't know what x is, but now I know what y is. Y is equal to 1. So I can replace y with 1 and solve for x. So my solution is x is 3 and y is 1. So this is our answer here. So we have solved the system using any method, and I'm going to go ahead and use both methods just so that we can get familiar with both first, and then later I'll start using just one or the other. So for the first one, I'm going to use substitution. So I'm going to write x minus y is equal to 4. And so I'm going to choose this equation, and I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to solve for x. So x will be equal to 4 minus y. Okay. So now the second equation is 5x minus 3y equals 6. And I already know that x is equal to 4 minus y. So I can substitute that in for x. So I get 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times y is negative 5y. Minus 3y equals 6. 5y and 3y is 8y equals 6. Subtract the 20. So we get 8y Negative 8y is equal to negative, so here, let's just go back really quick. Notice here I have x minus y equals 4. So I need to add y on both sides. So this is going to be 4 plus y. And so when I substitute it in here, I'm going to get 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times y is positive 5y. And so 5y minus 3y would give me a negative 2y. So I'm going to have negative 2y is equal to negative 14 divided by negative 2. So y is equal to positive negative 7. Okay, so let me just repeat that. We solve for y. I add y on both sides, substitute it for x. So we get 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times y is 5y. Minus 3y equals 6. So 20 plus 2y. 5 minus 3 is 2y. Subtract the 20, so we get negative 14. Divide by 2 on both sides, so we get y equals 7. So now we back substitute. And so I can pick the first equation. X is, we don't know what the value of x is. Y is negative 7. So x is going to be equal to negative 3. So my solution is x is negative 3 and y is negative 7. Okay. Notice here the way the equations are set up. One of the equations is already set up for x. Whenever that happens, then I like to use the substitution method. So here, we know that x is equal to 4y minus 8. So we can substitute that in for x. So 5 times 4 is 20y minus 40 minus 20y equals negative 40. 20y minus 20y is 0. So we get negative 40 is equal to negative 40. So what that means is this is a true statement. So what this means is that there is infinite many solutions. If we were to graph the equations, what would happen is you would have your first line, and then on top of it, you would have the second line. Okay, so let me illustrate that with the decimals app. So we can see the graph. So here we have x is equal to 4y minus 8. And then I'm going to put the second equation, 5x minus 20y equals negative 40. So notice it lands on top of the other equation. So there's the first one in red, and then the second one is blue. It falls on top of it. So what that means is that all of these points are going to be common to both lines. And so that's why we say it's infinite many solutions. The way we write our solution is we say that for any x and y, and then we pick an equation. You can pick the first one or the second one. And so this represents that there's many solutions.